Where we're gonna break, how about right here into fourth, missing that apex, going wide and actually destroying our lap completely. Oh no. Well, I guess we'll have to try again, shan't we? Yo, what's up guys? I'm finally back. It's your boy Chris and I'm bad at everything. And look, we've got a new microphone! And we've actually got some other really exciting news. Let's say it like this. This is the last time that we'll be playing this game on this console. And that's all I'll say for now. But keep posted to the channel and you won't miss a single update. There's some very exciting things coming, especially in terms of online competitive racing. So I'm super excited. I hope you guys are as well. And let's get stuck into today's video. Niki freaking Lauda, absolute racing legend. If you haven't heard of him, definitely take some time to catch up. He's an absolute beast. Nicknamed the computer because of how analytically he could set up the car and his general poise towards a race weekend. The guy was insane. 3-time world champion and to date the only champion to be both with Ferrari and McLaren, the world champion. And also winning the championship by the closest margin ever, 0.5 points. Because back in the day, points were different. But what you might know Niki Lauda even more from is his crash, of course. The notorious crash at the Nürburgring Nordschleife in 1976. That nearly cost him his life. The corner now, the Lauda Links, now named after him. And to this day, it's not entirely sure whether it was a driver error or if it was actually mechanical, where some component of the suspension failed, causing him to veer into the right on the left corner, which obviously isn't ideal. Him hitting the barrier, the fuel tank exploding, his car bursting into flames, then jumping back onto the circuit, getting hit by another car, and then being stuck in flames after having his helmet flung off for almost a minute until the other drivers heroically pulled him out of the seat. And then it took him 40 days, or 42 days to be exact, to recover, by which I mean he missed 2 races, and then he made it back in just 6 weeks for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, with a completely bloody bandages all over his head, painfully taking on and off his helmet, and actually managing to finish in 4th place at that race. And the rest of the 76 championship was insane with his arch rival James Hunt, of course, which you might know from the movie Rush. Niki Lauda would end up actually resigning himself from the last race at Suzuka and losing the championship to James Hunt by just a single point. And the biggest irony of them all is that on the race at the Nordschleife, Niki Lauda actually held a driver's session where he proposed to cancel the race because it was too dangerous, because it took too long for the emergency vehicles to make it to any incident on track, which of course inevitably was a prophecy. And then famously at the last race at Fuji in Japan, he actually took himself out of the race after just completing 1 lap, famously quoting that "my life is not worth more than a title," after torrential rain hit the racetrack and the drivers were still forced to race because of TV rights. With James Hunt managing to finish a miraculous 4th place, he would actually win the championship by just a single point over Niki Lauda. As now the sun is critically blinding me. Of course, Niki Lauda is remembered as one of the most influential characters in Formula 1. And we're here today to celebrate that. And we're going to do this by driving his 312T in Assetto Corsa. I'll see you guys there. And here we have some details of the 312T. The 3 standing for a 3-liter, the 12 technically being a 180-degree V, but Ferrari still called it a flat 12 because the pistons moved in the same direction. And the T standing for transversale, because the gearbox was mounted transversally, so not longitudinally in line with the car, but actually pivoted by 90 degrees perpendicular to the engine, and that was to reduce the length, so to have more of the weight between the axle, rather, or closer to the center of gravity, and also reducing the weight overall, so that would improve handling, especially understeer, and was a significant advantage over the competition, of course. So yeah, we had nearly 500 brake horsepower of that 12-cylinder engine, producing about 308 newton meters of torque and weighing just over 600 kilograms. So really insane power to weight ratio there, and indicated top speed of 320 kilometers an hour. So yeah, let's not recreate, but let's relive some of the glory of Formula 1 of that era in 1975. So this is the car that Niki actually drove in 75, not the one that he crashed in 76. Key distinction being that big airbox, which was banned in 76, so a slight distinction. But we don't have that car in game, so this is basically, they share the same, roughly the same chassis, same engine. So as close as we can get in this game so far. And without further ado, I'll see you guys on track. And here we are in the cockpit of the 312T Ferrari. Have a listen to that roar of the V12. Quick up on the setup, I've left it as the standard Nordschleife setup for this car. I think the front aero is about 3 and rear is about 6 in terms of the downforce from the wings. We're taking most of the fuel out of it. Tires should be under tire blankets while we're still stationary. But we'll take you guys on a cider lap and we'll make sure that we've got warm tires before we start our flying lap as well. One more really exciting thing, I'm not sure if you've seen from previous videos, my clutch pedal that used to sit on that disc over here is now actually installed. So if you look on the bottom right, we've got brake, we've got gas, and we've actually got a clutch. We don't have an H pattern shifter, so we are going to be using our flappy pedals to shift this in real life gated manual. And especially what this means for us is we need to heel and toe. So if you can look at those inputs, we need to be doing lots of this when downshifting to avoid spinning the rear wheels and sinking the gearbox to the engine, which is super exciting and I'm a big fan of. And let's turn the HUD off for now and take you guys on a sighting lap and see what driving this Ferrari is all about. And I just had another look in the pits that the setup was indeed correct. But let's take you guys for a flying lap now. So coming out of the pits, using that clutch for the first time on a video, which feels super exciting. And yeah, now let's take you on a quick sighting lap around the Nordschleife. It's super exciting in this car, as we're now going through the gears, coasting through this super fast right-hander. Up to 4th gear now, and now heeling and towing for the first time down to 3rd, and again down to 7th, 2nd, and it just feels super satisfying when you get that right. Lots of power in the 12-cylinder engine, especially at the top of the rev range as we fail to brake. And as always, accelerating or just generally being anywhere near the curves is basically an immediate suicide. So let's try to avoid that. Now preparing flugplatz for the first time. You can take the crest flat actually, but need to then quickly brake it for the super fast double right-hander over 200 kilometers an hour here. And then again, shifting into 5th now is super satisfying because it's right after 4th. You're not losing any revs, so you're really reaching the maximum that the car has to give. Now into Schwedenkreuz, down to 4th, coasting, back on the gas, and now hard on the brakes, down to 3rd, down to 2nd again, hitting my knee on the disc, ouch! And again, accelerating now down the hill. I've left the engine rev limiter at the standard 4 or 5, I believe. Again, now into 5th. But you can increase that, and what that does is it gives you maybe a little bit of extra horsepower. Oh god, I nearly missed the shift there. But you also risk damaging the engine. If you over rev it, you immediately hear it, and you get the indicator that your engine is destroyed. If you do that too often, then it's going to completely go out on you, and then your race is over. Now this super fast left-hander down into 3rd, coasting through and back on the gas, and now hard again down into 2nd, keeping it nice and close to the curbs but staying off them, and now keeping it in 2nd here, turning in, aiming for the white marker, and now again preparing, lifting here, keeping it on the inside, and now preparing miss, hit, miss. Can we actually do it correctly this time? Apparently not. Again, miss, miss, miss for us. And now coming to the slowest section of track, down to 2nd. Ooh, keeping it straight as we actually go off, and that's not ideal, losing part of our front wing. That's not great, but we're gonna keep going for now, just showing you the lap, and we're gonna focus obviously a little bit more on our actual flyer. This is my least favorite corner on track. It's so deceptive and easy to go too fast through there. And also this right-hander here is quite stable, but as soon as you go over the limit, it's easy to then not be able to recover. And now actually coming into Lauda links, so maybe slowing it down a little bit. I've just reversed back because I wanted to actually take some more time to talk about this next section. Because now we're coming up to the Lauda Linkskurve. And this is exactly where Niki Lauda actually had his crash. So again, it's not sure if he actually hit this inside curb coming at over 200 kilometers an hour, or if it's rear right suspension failure that caused him to just lose the rear here, veer off into the right, hit the curb, come back on track and get hit by another car and nearly lose his life. It's unknown. And also Niki had amnesia following the accident, so he actually never knew exactly himself how he felt. The only thing he remembered was the race weekend at the Nordschleife and then waking up in the hospital thereafter. So it's impossible to exactly say, but at the end of the day, and also in Niki's pragmatic approach, it's part of racing. And those drivers know the risks that they're taking every time they enter the car. And I mean, compared to today, the safety standards back then were essentially non-existent. Of course, seatbelts having found their way into F1 at that point, and helmets and so on, but still, no neck protection, no Hans device, nothing like that. And just overall standards were just not the same as they were today. And even today, the drivers still know the risks, and of course, sometimes accidents that are life-threatening still happen. So that's why we do this online, right? As I go off, kind of getting a little bit emotional there. But honestly, I would do it in real life as well. I mean, that is my long-term goal, to do this. Maybe even on this track someday, as I completely miss the carousel now. It is possible to take this. Should be in first gear, as we are now, and we've also completely lost our tire temperature, so gotta make sure that we keep it clean and off the grass. Now this super fast section again, going onto this AstroTurf or grass or whatever this is. Now slowing it down, and this sector of course is the one that you practice the least, because you know you make mistakes in the first half of the track. But once you get here, it's so flowing and it's so fun. You know, it's all medium to fast to high-speed corners. At least in modern day cars with more downforce it is. I mean, even in this, what am I talking about? But it's really important to hit your lines correctly. And this corner here as well, very deceptive. So putting it down to second, carrying the speed, carrying it in second, and then again slowing it down for this deceptive right-hander. Easy to go wide here. Quickly into third, back down to second, and this one again having a late apex, easy to mess up. Same with this one, brakes sooner than what you would think, as we still miss the apex actually. And now this section also sketchy on the accelerator. And now here as well, easy to jump, but we're gonna brake a little bit beforehand, shifting down to third, and carrying the speed, staying off the curbs. Now also here, careful on accelerating. Easy to lose the car, and when you do, and it will happen eventually, you are gone. You're just an absolute goner. Oh god, please stay off the curbs, Christian. Oh, and stay off the grass. And now coming to close out this lap, also this super fast right-hander. And actually I forgot that we actually lost our front wing, so missing some front downforce, which is not helping us. And now the Kleine carousel, slowing it down into second, keeping it nice and tidy. And now preparing the exit for the long straight at the end of the lap. Ooh, again, missing the front downforce. And that's essentially one lap minus 3 corners of the Nordschleife. So we're going to go back into the pits and repair the car. Then we're going to go out again and make sure our tires are warmed up and that we didn't manage to break the car on the way there. And I'll see you guys at the start of our flying lap to see what this car can do around the Nordschleife. And we now start our next attempt at a flying lap, preparing this last complex of corners in second gear. Now down into first, again car wanting to get super squirmy. Careful on accelerator here, and that's starting a new lap around the Nordschleife. Making sure not to lock the rears here, going a little bit wide but recovering nicely. Now up the gears, up until third. Now slight dab, turning it in and back on the gas here. Up into fourth here, and now really focusing on heeling and towing. Third gear, down to second, turning it in. Going just a little bit wide, but using the maximum of the AstroTurf. And now here riding the curb, opening this left-hander in second gear. Oh, that was a nice car, trying to get squirmy once again as we are sideways into this right-hander, compromising the exit of the straight slightly, but it's okay. We, I think, had a relatively decent first couple of corners here, so now preparing Flugplatz up in fourth gear, slight lift to protect the engine. Now quick tap on the brakes, turning it in, 200 kilometers an hour. Ooh, slightly on the grass, but that was still nice. Now up to 240, 250, fifth gear, down the hill, keeping it as tight as possible. Now preparing Schwedenplatz. All the way to the right here. Now quick dab on the brakes, fourth gear, turn it in, back on the gas, and now hard on the brakes. Don't lock the rears this time. And getting it slowed down nicely. Careful not to accelerate too early, and not on the curbs especially, as we now go down the hill. And let's make sure we hit our braking and turning markers this time round. So where are we gonna brake? How about right here? And now turning it in slightly wide of the apex, but managing to get it slowed down into third, and now into second. Super slow left-right combination here. Stay off the curbs, Christian, and that's a nice exit here. Whew, I'm getting super hot already. Now preparing this super fast left-hander, kind of in the middle of the track, then down into third, sideways, turning it in, and then down one more gear into second, using the camber of the corner to carry the speed. Slightly wide on exit, again on the curb, and now braking here earlier than you think because it's downhill, hitting this white marker and preparing the exit nicely there. Up into third again, slight lift, again use the camber as we now prepare miss, hit, miss. Can we do it right this time? Miss. That's a hit. That's an overhit actually, and missing again, but that was decent. And now preparing the slowest corner of the track. Really gotta keep it careful here. Oh, but that was very clean. Now short shifting into second, maximizing the acceleration and the traction. And now into my least favorite corner of this track. Super deceptive, easy to brake too late. It's more, oh god, has a higher radius than what you think. And we nearly bin it there as well, going onto the curb and the grass, but managing to hold on somehow. I think that cost us maybe a second, maybe a little bit less. Not ideal, but we're gonna keep going as we now put our hats off to Lauda and this Lauda left, and now preparing back, keeping it nice and outside. Saving it somehow. That was not ideal, but oh my god, I can't believe we saved that. Now up the gears again. Let's see what is the max speed that we can reach. Up into fourth, keeping it pinned. The downforce helping us through these super fast corners. 240, 250. We're gonna put it into fifth, using the high revs of the engine to pull us. 260. Now preparing Mutkurve, we're gonna put it down into fourth. Fourth, braking, turning it in, and back on the gas, and that was judged almost to perfection. Not bad. Now here, slight dab on the brakes. It's easy to go wide here, and now braking nice and early for this section before the carousel, leaving it in second. Don't accelerate too early. That was slightly scrappy, slightly slow, but it's okay. We take it now. Again, braking super early for the carousel, down into first, and now just, you know, gotta be patient. Just stay in there as we now come out of it, accelerating up into second, up into third now. And now comes the most difficult part, for me at least, since this is the part of the track I know the least. But just trying to stay focused, not overdo it, trying not to be a hero. Down into second here, using the camber of the track. Up into third once again. Slight hit on the brakes, keeping it in. Once again here, trying not to go too wide, using the curb here to cut the corner. Ooh, while we go wide and actually invalidate our lap time, but actually I don't really care about that because I think the lap is still good. And we're not setting a qualifying lap here, just a hot lap, which won't count in the game, but whatever. We're gonna keep going. Up into third here, now back down into second. Oh, we are wide, we're way wide. Can we keep it on track? Yes, barely. Don't spin it now, Christian. And now this section is super sketchy as well. Braking early down into third, using the downhill section to ease with the suspension when it comes up again. Again, super easy to overdo it on the accelerator here. I'm missing all apexes. Up into fourth now. And here gonna slightly lift now back on the accelerator. Okay, I think I could have carried more speed through there. Up into fifth once again, and now braking for this super fast right-hander, keeping it to the right. Braking down to third. Maybe second would have been better there, but anyway. Now the Kleine Karussell, only a few corners left to go, so focus now, don't bin it at this stage, that would be super disappointing. Remembering the Lotus 98T that we've been right here as well. Ooh, don't go wide. Okay, nice. And now preparing this turn in as well. And that's full throttle for us now. Up into fourth now, letting the V12 scream and run free. Up into top gear. Oh, and I'm really hot at this stage. Oh, come on, focus on the road, Christian. Okay, we're already above the 6 minute 30 mark. What's it gonna be? I'm hoping it's gonna be a sub 7 minutes. And I need to remember to look at the time as we cross it because it's immediately gonna go away. And because the game doesn't count it as a true lap. Now, under the Bilstein Bridge, preparing this last complex, just gotta keep it focused now, still full throttle, now easing it off. Now braking nice and early, down to second. Using a little bit of the curb here, and I think down into first. And it is going to be a sub 7 minute lap time. Just about. I think it was a 6:57, 6:58, something like that. We'll have a look at the lap times in just a second. But wow, oh my god, I am exhausted after that lap. Not the cleanest lap. Some mistakes, some sideways moments, but I hope it was entertaining. And I do believe it is still representative of what we actually did here. Just cutting the engine now, taking a moment to breathe, and let's have a look at the lap time now, guys. Alright guys, I just had a look at the lap recording and oh my god, how beautiful is this car? How comically small the front tires look compared to the rear ones. The 4 quad exhaust pipes, the beautiful livery of course, the way that the rear wing is just hanging off this trailing arm and just bolted on top, it's insane. It is beautiful, it's gorgeous, I love it. Absolute poster car. But the actual lap itself, it was a 6 minute 58.5 in the end. And that fits it right between the Lotus 98T, which was obviously built in 1986 with a lap time of, 6 minutes 19.4, and the Lotus 72D, both of which we drove previously, which is in 1971 and did a 719.5. So it fits basically exactly where you would expect it to. Faster than the cars predating it and slower than the cars coming after it. But still, making up 15 seconds in just not 15, making up 21 seconds in just a couple of years. What was it, 4 years? Is quite drastic. That was definitely not the easiest lap we've had around here, but I do feel like I've been getting better at least driving old cars and also with driving around the Nordschleife. So if you did enjoy this video, guys, hit like, support the channel by maybe hitting subscribe. I really appreciate you guys being here, and yeah, I'm super excited to have you guys here, and stay tuned. Love you guys. I'm Chris. I'm bad at everything, but I try. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.
Da musst du aber auch liken und subscriben und kommentieren und hier, ne?